Liberalology 101, Manufacturing the Special Snowflakes, Misguided Social Justice Warriors, and Ignoramuses of Tomorrow. Brought to you by today's public school system. I'm Matthew Brenner. Today is January 7th, 2017. If you want evidence that liberalology is pervasive in academia in this country, look no further than this tweet that says, "All I want for Christmas is white genocide." The professor that tweeted that, by the way, said he was referring to the situation in Haiti, but we all know what he really meant. And this hatred for whites and white males is very widespread, and it seems to be tolerated. Well, not exactly. Not by the deplorables. We spoke out and we voted for Donald Trump. I have two children that are in middle school, a daughter in 7th grade, a son in 6th grade, both of whom have been facing so-called reverse racism. My daughter has been given a hard time by both blacks and Latinos, and my son, to a little bit of a lesser extent, has also been given a hard time. And I've told both of them that's unacceptable. You both treat other people fairly, and the least you could expect in return is to be treated fairly also. My daughter has also brought to my attention that the kids in her class seem to be hypersexualized, and they're constantly talking about all of this different stuff in class. The teachers have brought up different types of sexuality and orientations. There's not just being gay and bisexual anymore. There's all these different orientations and being gender fluid. Not only that, but it seems like we are in a culture that encourages the kids to take on this behavior. It's almost incentivized. In fact, there was a girl in my daughter's class that publicly claimed to be bisexual, but she admitted to my daughter that she wasn't, and that she had said so to be popular. How ironic that 30 years ago, somebody would lie about being gay or bisexual to be accepted. Now somebody would lie and say that they are to gain acceptance. It's kind of sad that somebody has to be something they're not. We should preach acceptance so that people can be who they are, but I don't think we should encourage people to say that they are gay or bisexual to be popular. That's just a little bit ridiculous, in my humble opinion, and I'm sure others would be inclined to agree with me on that issue. Then take the case of my son. He brought to my attention that in his science class, they brought up the issue of being a climate change denier. And boy, you don't want to be stuck with that label. He made it sound as though they're making it seem being a climate change denier is equivalent to being a Holocaust denier. I told him that label is kind of inappropriate. I told him a more appropriate label might be a human-caused global warming skeptic. That seems a lot more appropriate to me. I also brought to his attention that WikiLeaks had released documents that showed they were meddling with the temperatures, artificially raising them. I also brought to his attention there were articles near the turn of the century saying that heavy snowfalls were going to be a thing of the past, and eventually snowfall was going to be a thing of the past. I also brought to his attention allegations that had been made saying cow farts were causing global temperatures to rise, even though cows have been farting in the pastures for tens of thousands of years. So my point to him was that there's always a healthy amount of skepticism to have when you're studying science. There are always competing theories. Always question things in science where the scientists studying something stand to benefit. I don't know, take for example, carbon offsets, taxes, switching from fossil fuels to green technology, where the people that make green technologies will profit. I also told him that global warming could be possible, but however fast it's happening, it seems as though the powers that be are making it appear to be happening much, much faster than it really is, if it's happening. I told him, remember, there are corporations that have a stake in global warming being a reality. It's always one of those things where you have to follow the money. One of the major problems, as I see it, with liberalology is they are intent on teaching the kids what to think as opposed to teaching them how to think. That is to say, they are not teaching our children how to think critically, and the important skills that they need are not going to be there when they go to get jobs. And what's going to happen to the future generation? That's what I want to know. What are these kids going to do when they need to compete for jobs? In liberalology, besides the standard indoctrination, you have, on election years, political indoctrination. Friends of mine have a 7-year-old daughter in 2nd grade. This past November of 2016, she came home with an important message. Mom and Dad, you need to vote for Hillary Clinton. They were like, excuse me? Well, apparently, they told all the children in the 2nd grade, don't forget to tell Mommy and Daddy this Tuesday they need to go home and vote for Hillary Clinton. Well, being the smart 7-year-old girl that she was, she told her teachers that besides Hillary Clinton, there was Donald Trump, and then there were third-party candidates like Jill Stein and Gary Johnson, but she was told that the third-party candidates don't really matter, and that Donald Trump was not really a great choice. There's the indoctrination of liberalology at work for you folks. The propaganda goes out to the kids to go out to you. Lastly, I'd like to talk about liberalology on Facebook. It's become quite the problem. As you guys well know, Mark Zuckerberg has been behind the campaign for censorship on Facebook. I have definitely noticed that censorship is at play. No doubt, censorship is all set to go for the Chinese. There's algorithms that can be delivered so that information is not available for certain provinces. They're good to go. Now, an incident that took place that might interest you. An acquaintance of mine that I am friends with on Facebook, who is a liberalologist, had a disagreement with a conservative. So, the conservative just took a screenshot of what he had to say, and his comment was, boy, this guy's a real turkey. So, my liberalologist Facebook friend decided he could not deal with that. He put all of this conservative guy's information out there, including his phone number. Well, one of the liberalologist's female acquaintances decided she was going to call the phone number. She ended up speaking to the conservative fellow's wife. She decided it would be just desserts to tell the wife that she was sleeping with him. So, needless to say, the wife got extremely rattled. So, the liberalologist's female friend goes back to him and says, hey, this is what I did. His response was to laud her with praise and say, good job. Now, if that's not the most outrageous stunt, all because of a political disagreement, but it goes to show you the liberalologist's way of looking at things. If you have a disagreement with somebody, all is fair in love and war. And this is war. You have to go out and release all their personal information, encourage other people to attack, especially the Hillary bots. They were that way. And this guy was a Hillary bot. He loved Bernie Sanders. But once Hillary was out of the running, it was fair game to attack and encourage others to attack. Now this conservative fellow's marriage could have been destroyed. But does he care? No. It's a victory in his book. This, everybody, is the danger of liberalology and this mentality. I'm inclined to agree with Michael Savage. Liberalism is a mental disorder, or at least to some of these people, it seems to have become one. Feel free to share your stories on how to combat liberalology or of crazy examples about liberalology. Feel free to like this video, comment on this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm sure I'm going to have some more wonderful examples of liberalology in the future. Until then, this is Matthew Brenner. I hope you appreciated the content of this video.